Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and today I want to talk about Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team, and specifically just how uncertain the future of it is. But like, in a good way. I started thinking about this a few weeks ago when the Worm Cult, that's the Genestealer Cultists, for Kill Team released, when we had the characters, the Locust, the Kellamorph, etc., all released, the Sanctus, that's the word, released for Kill Team. And I should have put them here, but they're actually in a box so that I can go and play them. So instead, ignore these models, they're just here for visual interest, I guess. And so in today's video, I'm going to wildly speculate about what the fact that we can now have characters in a normal kill team, as opposed to, you know, old edition, elites, commanders, etc., what that could mean for the rest of the game. But of course, first, if you are a subscriber to my channel, I would like to give you a big double hello. Wow. Even Abaddon has been converted from the Chaos Gods to become wholesome himself with such an amazing sound in his life. If you want that in the next video, like, subscribe, leave a comment right now. So this video isn't really going to be about the Genestealer cults specifically. I have thoughts about them, but I want to play them more before I actually talk properly about them. And really, if I want to start doing faction foci, then I need to start with the Vet Guard, then the Commandos, etc., etc., and build my way up. Probably not the AdMech, because I don't own the AdMech, so I'd be lying on that one, to be honest with you. But everything else I own, and I'm quite happy to play. I actually like the state of the game. I like all of the teams that have come out. I have them all, apart from AdMech. That's my bad, not AdMech's bad. But until now, I've been thinking, let's talk about Death Guard or Necrons. Okay, because these are the two teams that I'm kind of the most interested in to see what they do with the teams going forwards, because they're both slow and demons. Hey, maybe that's why I've got him here. It's not, but maybe it is. For these three teams, I'm going to use the word scared, that they would AdMech them. Ah, poor AdMech. Maybe I just haven't looked into the AdMech enough, I don't know, but the AdMech just seemed like a boring team to me. They were given like 1-2 new data sheets, but otherwise it is just, look at the compendium, cool, now you can take a mix instead of a fire team. You have your slots, but it's just the compendium. And that seemed really boring to me. And I was scared that perhaps for the demons, we would get, you know, just whatever, we'd get the current data sheets, all the 4 of the Chaos Gods, plus Blue Horrors as well, and it would say, hey, you can take whichever you want. As a slot thing, a Pink Horror costs 2 slots, but everything else is 1 slot. And I was like, oh, okay, so basically, what that would do is make it like the roster of last edition. But I'm not going to talk about rosters yet, that's another video. Or for the Death Guard, it would just be, here's your Plague Marines and your Poxwalkers, take a mix. You can have 14, because that seems to be the most they let anybody take, and a Poxwalker is 1, and a Plague Marine is 2/3. And then for Necrons, again, I was thinking, oh yeah, this will just be flayed ones, whatever, warriors, immortals, mix them up however you want. And like, okay, obviously they would be given, whatever, some interesting tactics. Reanimation protocols for Necrons would probably become the special ability. So I suspect that every model in Necrons, this is pure guess, right? Pure guess, but maybe it would be once a turn still, like the ploy, but I think it would just be every model in a Necron force will automatically have reanimation protocols turned on, but then it can only happen once or something like that. I don't know. Which, whilst fun and a clear power upgrade from the compendium, isn't exactly boring, because now we've seen Genestealer cults. And then you have to think, okay, well, what does that mean going forwards? Let's look at each of these 3 teams, the Demons, the Necrons, and the Death Guard, and just wildly speculate, because I'm excited about the game and what might be coming at this new revelation of worm cults. So the Death Guard could be getting something crazy like, let's say they're the Plague Surgeon, right? And then maybe the Plague Surgeon has an aura. Oh, to be clear, obviously the Plague Surgeon doesn't have to be the leader. The leader can still just be a Plague Marine champion. But then you have a selection of, let's say, the Plague Surgeon, the Tallyman, and the Blightbringer, right? Is it the Blightbringer? Poxbringer? Blight Herald? I think I'm just saying words now. And you can choose 1 or 2 of these character models if you want. And then it would be something similar to, oh, for Death Guard, I just assume Contagion is going to be the special ability that's baked into every datasheet. So if you're ever within circle of one of the models, you get, the injured status effect, essentially. Pure speculation, again. And so then, if you take the Plague Surgeon, well, everyone within red of that model gets a 4-up Feel No Pain instead of a 5-up. Something like that. And anyone that's, if you take the Plague, not the Plague Surgeon, the Blightbringer, I'm just going to say Blightbringer, the guy that has the Pox head, the guy that has the grenades in Big 40k, I don't know what his name is, he just got a points increase, so nobody's going to take him anymore, I believe. Then every Plague Marine gets access to a Blight Grenade, something like that. And then if you take the Tallyman, I don't know, your models can count. Something like, as long as you have 7 models, because that's the number of Nurgle on the board, including the Tallyman, everybody gets +1 to their movement speed and whatever, I don't know. I don't even know what the Tallyman would do. I literally have no idea. I think the Tallyman in 40k just lets you potentially keep a command point. Yeah, I don't know how that's crossing over, if I'm honest. Maybe he'd be a psychic guy. I don't know what the Tallyman does at all. But that is a super cool sounding team because, as you may be aware, I quite like... Oh god, I was about to say I quite like Marines. That's not exactly what I mean, okay guys? I haven't converted yet. But I do quite like a resilient team that is also quite killy, the downside being that you are slow, but now there is the possibility to have access to not just being killy and hard to kill, but also some sort of effect. And that really adds an interesting dynamic to things. So what about Necrons? What could they do? When it comes to Necrons, we have to think of the old edition, and we also have to think of the core book, where we saw a Lich Guard and a Praetorian. That is possible. That is possible. A Lich Guard costs 3 slots, or 2 slots, whatever. Whereas a Flayed One or a Warrior is 1, and then an Immortal's 2. And then you can choose to build either melee or ranged with your Necrons. Why not have access to characters? Why not be able to take an Overlord? But actually, an Overlord's way too strong to have in Kill Team, isn't it? I mean, that would be like having a Chapter Master. That would be like bringing in Grimaldus into a game of Kill Team. So no, not an Overlord. But maybe one of the Plasmancers, so I think it's the Plasmancer and the Chronomancer that are on 40 mil bases. It's the Cryptek that's on the big, I'm going to say 50 mil because it's got the Flying Scarab. I think that's a 50, so it wouldn't be that. And then there's another one, the Chronomancer, the Plasmancer, and then you could have access to those 3. I think they're actually HQs, but that's fine. But I'm going to be honest, I actually don't know what they do in 40k. I'm going to assume that they make it easier if you're within 6 inches to resurrect, or they automatically, I don't know. I assume it's something to do with resurrection protocols, but again, anything to do with some sort of aura or buff, or they are themselves, or they are like essentially a psyker, even though you don't call it a psychic power. It's basically, I mean, in Kill Team, a psychic power is just an action, so you can just have them have access to a list of like whatever, Necron powers. And then maybe one of them is an offensive character and one of them is a buffing character. Oh, and maybe you have to take all of them. It's not just you get the option of 1 or 2. Maybe it's these are the 3 models you have to take because it's some kind of high court of the Necron dynasty or something and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Just a cool idea. Demons. So when it comes to demons, again, I was sure they were just going to do... These are your slots, do whatever you want. But they don't have to. Now, it's a little bit different with demons, because I think that with demons, there's a really big advantage to changing them to being a slot-based team over Compendium, because it would really allow you to flex into what you want to do, and actually, because they have access to so many options, it's almost the same, I say almost, as making Space Marines just, here's a slot. Pick whichever of the 20 different datasheets they have. So you could end up with that ultimate customizability of, a Reaver Sergeant, and then 2 Intercessors, and then whatever. But we could also have access to some sort of list building mechanic where if you take X of, a particular Chaos Gods models, you can then also take one of their character models. So, Scribbler, oh man, I don't know any of their names. So, if you go half or more of your team being Bloodletters, then you could take the Skull Taker. If half or more are Nurgle, then you can take the Scribbly Bile Piper Boy. I don't remember, but you could take that. I think actually, if they do Demons correctly, then Demons are going to be a really difficult faction. Like, the list building is going to take up multiple pages, and that actually scares me and makes me think that they won't do them properly. And it will just be, here's a slot-based system from Compendium. But anyway, let's not end on a down note. Honestly, guys, I'm just excited to play my Worm Cult, and I've been thinking about what their team means for the rest of Kill Team. So I've made this video, and that's about it. Anyway, that's kind of the end of the video. Heads up, I was kind of thinking that I would start doing live streams, probably not every Sunday, but every other Sunday. And those might be some very low effort recaps of the games I've played, because I don't feel like making actual, battle reports of them, so that I can just keep people updated with my thoughts on things outside of just my Vantage Point podcast, which is of course restricted to patrons only. So look for me going live on a Sunday, maybe, possibly. And then the other thing is I have started a new Warhammer 40k channel called Tilt Tactics Tabletop. I don't quite know what it's going to be yet. I have yet to find my groove. At the time of recording this, I have posted one video. Link in the description if you want to follow me there. That'd be cool. But obviously I'm separating out my 40k content from my Kill Team content. Just so, I don't want to bog people that are only interested in the skirmish game with the full-size game. And if you've made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow. This time, Grimaldus thinks that was very wholesome. Thanks, Grimaldus. You're a wholesome guy yourself. Kind of. Anyway, I hope you've had a good day and continue to have a good day. Goodbye.